Hi. So, we're gonna start with a little bit of movement today to get us grounded into our bodies. So if you all just want to mute your ends, and then after we move a little bit, I'll have you pop on and we'll chat. So just go ahead and stand up and just find a little space. Good. All right, so let's just take a moment here to ground. So you can bring your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your belly, separate your feet wide enough that you feel stable on the ground, and close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And just feel your body and notice how it feels to breathe. Notice if your heart rate is elevated or going on inside. And then with this next exhale, just pull your belly all the way in and really empty of the breath, squeezing the belly to the spine. And then take a nice big breath in through your nose, filling the rib cage. See if you can really spread that breath into the outer ribs, side ribs, back ribs, really expanding the entire torso. And when you exhale again, you're going to pull the belly all the way in. So remember, the more you can exhale, the bigger the inhale will be. So the exhale is super important. You're just really letting go of whatever's inside, all of that stagnant energy and breath, and then allowing a nice full breath in. And just take one more like that. Then go ahead and open your eyes and let your arms down by your sides. And we're just going to start with a big hug of the tree. So you're going to pull those elbows together behind you and then wrap your arms almost like you're wrapping them around the tree. And as you pull the elbows back, you're squeezing the shoulder blades. And then as you bring the arms forward, you're spreading the shoulder blades and trade the arm that's on top. So switch arms each time you come forward. And you can make this as big or as small as you like, but you just want to start to feel the spine, feel the muscles between the shoulder blades. And then I'm going to ask you to pay attention to the chest, the front of the body. So I want you to feel the spread of the chest when you bring the elbows back, and then feel this engagement of the chest when you bring the arms forward. So noticing the front body. Notice what happens with the ribs. The ribs kind of come out and in. Body, the back and the front at the same time. So when you pull the elbows back, you're squeezing shoulder blades and you're spreading chest. When you bring the arms forward, you're squeezing chest, spreading shoulder blades. So kind of feel into that a little bit. Soften your shoulders, soften your neck. Good. And then just let the arms down by the sides. At first, you feel like you're just moving that arm around in the socket. And then I want you to see if you can move from your side ribs. Can you really lift that arm from your side back ribs? So you're really lifting out of the back body to feel this. Maybe you feel a spread of the side back ribs. You can let the body move too. So it's a full body movement. A little quick, a little slow, whatever feels good for you. And then the same thing going backwards. So backstroke. Arms come back, and your arms would like to be as straight as possible here. And you're just focusing on moving that arm in the shoulder joint, all the way around in that joint. And then see if you can start to move a little bit more from the front side ribs. So you're feeling like you're spreading those front side ribs to bring that arm up and back. Let the whole body move, whatever feels right for you. There's no right way to do this. Make sure that breath is still slow and steady, just like when you started. Good. And then we'll pause here and just have a twist. So the arms are just going to flop, and you're twisting and turning your entire pelvis and torso. The back heel lifts, and pull your belly into your spine when you're doing this, and see if you can allow those arms to swing a little bit more. So they're really slapping you as they swing around. Good. And then you're going to plant your feet. So don't let the heels lift anymore, but keep allowing those arms to swing. Squeezing that belly into the spine. Now see if you can center your hips. So the hips square forward, and still allow your arms to swing, but just bend those elbows. So it's a little more intentional movement through the rib cage. And you're still turning your heart side to side, but you're feeling a twist now, hopefully in the center of your spine. Good. Okay, we're just going to do one more movement here. So let the arms down. And I want you to almost like over exaggerate, like you're taking a step, but you're going to twist one way and lift the knee. So let's say I'm going to twist towards the left and lift the left knee, and then the other way, twist towards the right and lift the right knee. So you're almost like just exaggerating a walk with a twist through the spine. So the knee comes up and you're turning your entire heart, like upper torso, towards that lifted knee. Good. Okay, and we have one more movement here. So inhale, bring your arms up. If your palms can touch, great. If they can't, you can just leave them separated. If they can touch, you can also squeeze the arms towards the head. And if you need more, you can turn your palms to face each other and press your palms together. And all I want you to do is just some circles from the base of your torso, so right out of your hips. And what I want you to feel is when you lean back in this twist, I want you to feel the belly stretch. So see if when you lean back, you feel the belly stretch and you hold yourself with your belly to bring yourself around into the circle. So feel the stretch and then feel the engagement to lift you up and bring you around. And let's go the other way, all the way around. So feel that big stretch back and squeeze those belly muscles, bringing you around. Make sure you're still breathing, not squeezing your face or clenching anything. Good. Give yourself one more rotation here. Good. And then let the arms down by the sides. We're going to pause again. So hand to heart, hand to belly. Eyes are closed if that feels okay for you. Feet are separated. And now see if you can feel a little bit more what's going on inside. Maybe you can feel your heart beating a little faster, the breath a little more elevated. Just noticing the aliveness inside of you. Letting your breath all the way out. And take a nice big breath in through the nose, filling your body. And then a nice sigh out. You can open your eyes and let's all unmute and we'll just have a little chat. Take your time. How'd that feel, Jared?
The circle thing's like interesting. That was like kind of helped, like I feel like I was kind of losing my balance and like it was like kind of rough on my neck too. I wasn't really sure how to like relax my neck while I was doing that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. That's giving you some information, right? Your neck is used to working probably when you want to use your core. So just something to pay attention to. We're going to do a little bit more with that. So hopefully you'll get it, what I was trying to get at, but that's awesome. What about you, Nastran? How'd it feel to move a little?
Good, thank you.
You're
And do you know
welcome.
something? I changed my pillow. I already told you that I have some pain here in my upper back. And since I changed my pillow, the pain is gone.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was probably too much for you. You know, that's so great. Good. Awesome. What about you, Frank?
After having these sessions with you for the posture, I thought maybe my posture when I'm sleeping is not correct. That's why I have this back pain. So thank you.
It's good awareness, honestly. Like I feel like if we sleep on our side, we definitely need a pillow, because think about this is the space from your shoulder to your head, right? So you want to be supporting that. But if you sleep on your back, often we don't need that much. It almost pushes us into forward head posture if we have a big, thick pillow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm side sleeper.
You're side sleeper, yeah. Yeah, that's huge. So I'm glad you found a pillow that works for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What about you, Frank? How are you feeling from your race? You did a mountain running race.
Well, first off, I was in the airport today, and like you were in my head, like you're standing sideways. Now look, stand up straight. So I had to stand up straight because you told us to practice that. I like the march. I like that, the left with left. You know, I'm going to be excited to see how you connect the dots, and it does have a little bit of a running motion that felt good. So yeah, no,
Cool.
good. You got like a
Awesome.
bag of tricks. You bring out like these new moves.
Yeah, you should see me at the beach.
Yeah.
I do lots of weird shit when I walk on the beach. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys, so my intention today is to give 3 good tips, but I'm going to go over like so much other stuff. So feel free to jump in and like just wave if you have a question, and then we can talk about stuff as I'm going. Okay, but just leave yourselves unmuted. Good. So did you have any questions about last week or anything about your bodies or anything coming up that you want to discuss before we get into this? No?
Yes, because
Yeah.
I've been like really trying to like concentrate on this when I practice yoga, and even when I'm just standing, like my feet are still always like kind of like pointing outwards, and so like when I like point them forwards, I really feel it like engaging in my like front thighs, like in the hamstrings, which is kind of interesting. So I've just been trying to keep that in mind.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you start to change how what you're used to doing in your body, you're going to feel different muscles fire, right? Because you're used to using the same muscles. I would just be aware of where you're turning the toes in from. So if you're turning them in from your shin, right, you're going to access a different part of the body than really what I'd like for you to get, which is from the groin going down, right? So you really want to make sure you're not just turning the toes in, but you're turning the whole femur bone. And so, yeah. So like, I love a Pilates ball for practicing keeping the inner thighs engaged, just like a 9-inch ball that you can put between your thighs. It's nice and gentle, but just kind of squeezing the inner thighs together like that. Even try it without anything there. If you have a yoga block, you can use it too. It's just not as gentle, but it almost causes you to turn your toes more forward when you just engage those inner thighs. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to convey, because when oftentimes we turn out because the outer thighs are stronger. Those muscles are used to being overused. So these muscles are used to being weaker and more stretched out. So it's just kind of learning to use these inner thigh muscles more. So then we can start to have.
Are you guys locked too, or just?
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth is frozen.
Oh, am I frozen? Okay, hold on a second.
No, you're good now.
Let me just make sure the Wi-Fi. Let me try this one. Okay, will you let me know? Just wave if I get frozen again.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you see me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Elizabeth, I was going to jump in.
Yeah.
Like when I started practicing more of like a yin and doing a yangar, like we did a lot of that block within the thighs. Like that was part of like the training, and it really helped with the inward motion of just now, like whenever I do like a standing pose where I always twist my hips in. And like I also think about like spreading, like the instruction was spread the toes, sort of like when you're in downward dog, like spread the hands, because that gives you the inward rotation. So I would just throw that out as well. Like reinforce that. The block is really helpful.
Yeah,
and I like the ball. It's better because it's more comfortable.
The ball is way more comfortable. I love the ball. But honestly, like what I'd really like to convey is in your yoga class, like when you're walking, it's such an amazing way to activate the inner thighs, but it's, you know, in learning how to, I'm not going to teach it today. That'll have to be a separate thing that we do. But honestly, hiking and walking intentionally in this specific way has given me more access to my inner thighs than like any other thing that I've done. And also the mobility of the inner thighs. So kind of the stuff that we would do in class, Jared, of like stretching and engaging the inner thigh muscles, that will help to wake that area up, because possibly you just need more connection to that area. You know what I mean? So yeah. Can you all see me still? Am I?
Yeah, you're great.
Out? Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. Does that answer your question? Is that helpful? Jared?
Me, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. Awesome. All right, y'all. Is it okay if we move on? Because I want to get into this walking posture stuff. Okay. So, all right. The first thing that affects change is your awareness of how you're walking, right? So when you're walking, I don't know if you've become aware of it since we started talking about it last week, but are you aware? Do you, when you walk, do you shuffle your feet? Do you pick your feet up? Do you walk with your belly out, right? Kind of like leaning back? Do you walk looking down at the ground? So these are just some of the common things that I see. I also see people that they're just so heavy. It's just like their body's so heavy, and so everything is kind of like going down, not just into the earth, but like all of that pressure is going down into your feet, ankles. Also, what are you using to walk? What are you wearing on your feet when you walk? So when we wear shoes, depends on how structured the shoe is, but a shoe that has a really thick base sole and an arch support or it's almost like putting your foot into a cast, right? It's the support, but it prevents the bones of the feet from moving. There's 26 little bones in the feet, each foot. So when those little bones can't become mobile, it's just like the spine, everything becomes rigid and tight. And so what I believe is that it starts from the ground up, right? So if we are starting with a shoe, like an orthotic or something in the shoe that's keeping the foot like in a cast and immobile, that's going to spread all the way up the body. Does that make sense? Right. So I'm not telling you to go barefoot tomorrow. It's a process. However, walking barefoot is so important. If you can get outside once or twice a day in grass or sand is the best, because the grass is super soft and it's comfortable for the feet. The sand is really going to work your foot. And learning how to roll through the foot, right? From the heel to the ball to the toe, you really want to get this kind of rolling through to start to happen. It happens the more mobile the foot is, right? So in the beginning, I've worked with people where it's like they can't even feel the heel, right? So it's just kind of like the whole foot touching down. And I've worked with people too that do you step with your toe first, right? That's just a habitual way. And so what happens when you step with the toe and not the heel, kind of do that. Put the ball of the foot down and notice what happens with the back of the bottom part of your leg. Does it get tight? Now reverse that and put the heel down, right? It lengthens it. So if we're walking on the balls of the feet, we're constantly shortening the calf muscle. Calf muscles are super important. It's part of the back line of the body. A lot of times we think that the hamstrings are overly tight, but it's really the calf. The calf and the hamstrings connect over the same joint, the knee joint. Does that make sense? There's a lot of information, but I want to give it to you all to you. So shoes, feet and shoes, super important. I started with just getting like a Vibram shoe, which is a 5-finger toe shoe, and walking a little bit every day in it. And I also love to walk barefoot on the beach because that really works the foot. So I suggest, if you really want to take this on, to start playing with what barefoot means to you. But very, very little, a little at a time. Also, I hear all the time, I can't walk barefoot in the house because the ground is too hard. I totally get that. In the beginning, I would say, do what you need to do, like support your feet, and then spend a little time every day, a little bit of barefoot walking so you can really start to mobilize the foot and build up your stamina. Cool. Any questions about the feet? Okay, good. Oh, yes. Jared.
I wear flip-flops like 90% of the time, and people keep telling me like you shouldn't. And I guess I have plantar fasciitis. Like I went to a doctor and because I have like pain in like the arches of my feet, but they never said anything about shoes. And I told them like, yeah, I'm in flip-flops all the time. They're like, that doesn't really matter. And I'm just like, okay, I'll take your word for it. But
they didn't tell you why?
No.
Okay. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Awesome. So when you're walking in sandals, especially the ones that go through the big toe, there are sandals out there by like Zero. I have the Zero company ones that go around the heel and over the foot. What's happening is you're doing this with your toes every time you take a step. So you're
Okay.
making your toes scrunch. Yeah. And also, if your arches are bothering you, you're probably not using them enough. Our body, the pain response is, I believe, the body saying, I need to be used more. Right. So when in America, we're so used to pain means don't do this, don't move it, don't use it. But I really feel like, I mean, it just makes sense. If we don't use it, we don't send blood to the area. So that's our healing. That's the most healing part of us, right? The blood flow. We got to have that circulation going. So for you, again, like barefoot walking would be so good for you because it will mobilize your feet. And if you're walking in this way, so it's a slow when you're starting out, I always tell people just kind of walk around, right? Because you're not going to want to start out slow because the mind is going to go. So just walk at your normal pace and then start to slow down and start to slow down more until you can really feel, I'm going to roll through my foot. That means I'm going to roll off the back foot. So heel, ball of foot, toe, heel, ball of foot, toe. So it really makes you be present because you need to focus now on stepping the back foot forward and then rolling off the back foot. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Jared? That walking?
Yeah.
So my prescription for you would be some barefoot walking in grass or sand, doesn't matter. Just get out there every day, a little bit every day, and see if how it feels like in a week.
Okay. Yeah. To me, that means go to the beach every day. So cool.
Yes.
That's a great excuse to go to the beach.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm just doing my
Exactly.
barefoot walking out in the
Totally. I love it. Yes. Everybody, you all have a prescription to go to the beach as often as you can and walk. You meet really cool people there too. So at least I do. Okay, good. Are we good with the feet? Yes? Okay, awesome. So coming up from the feet, we have the glutes. So the glutes, does anybody know what the glutes do for the body? Or want to like take a stab at it?
squeeze.
Connects the
What's
upper
that?
body to the lower body?
No. Good guess. Okay, so the glutes, I'll just throw it out there for you. So do you understand flexion and extension? So flexion is bringing the leg forward, extension is bringing the leg back. The glute max is the strongest extender of the hip, right? And so what does this look like? This is how we're walking, right? So when we take a step forward, we put the leg that was once in front into extension. So when we take that step forward, we want the glute to be engaged. So take a walk around, just put your hands on your butt and take a walk around and notice if you are using your butt muscles at all. So now, don't answer me yet. So now all I want you to do is keep walking. Don't look at the floor, by the way, look straight ahead and slow your pace and slow your pace. And now slow your pace down so much, you're just going to feel like you're not in a hurry to bring a foot forward. And now tell me, do you feel your glutes?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So what happens over time is we start to, so also the glutes are the strongest stabilizer of the hip. So as we get older, we lose glute strength. And the biggest reason for that I see is because we're sitting. And so in this position, I'm stretching the glutes. If I'm stretching my glutes all day, what's happening to them? They're becoming weak, right? And they don't know that they need to come back into this engaged position because we're not doing squats, we're just sitting, right? And I'm not saying you all aren't. I'm saying, most people, right? So I like to call it no acetol. My grandpa used to call it that. It's a condition we get as we age. Our asses disappear, right? And it's a product of sitting too much. So
no ass at all. I got it.
Yeah. You like it? No acetol.
Yeah.
Say it fast. It sounds like a disease that you don't don't want to get. So, yeah. So basically what happens is our vestibular system, our balancing system is connected to our eyes, right? So we start to, as we get older, we lose the stabilizing muscles. So we start to feel less balanced. Our eyes and our balancing system are connected. So now we've lost some of our balance. So we feel nervous. So we start to look down. And as we look down, where our eyes go, our heart goes. So now we're shuffling our feet and we're looking down and we're walking like this. I know that's like an extreme like progression, but does that make sense to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. So preventative would be really paying attention when you walk, when you take your steps. Am I using my ass at all? Right? I want to. So when I walk, and it's when I'm talking to people, it can be distracting, right? So I really suggest taking time. 20 minutes a day is plenty of time. 20 minutes a day of a walk, that can be your meditation. And you start out at your pace, right? And then you just start to slow down your pace. And you start to stand in that back leg a little bit longer. And you just start to notice your glutes. And when you first start doing this, by the way, you're going to feel like a robot, right? It's going to feel like you're trying to engage things. So you might feel a little stiff, like the Tin Man. But over time, you're going to program, I want my glutes to work. Now, as your glutes start working more, now you're going to feel more balanced. So I want you to pay attention to your chin. So your chin wants to stay parallel with the earth always. And I want you to consider that your eyes move around in your head. And your brain is so intelligent that it is picking up everything around you. You don't have to look straight down to see if there's a rock or a stick, because your brain saw it 10 steps ago, and it's calculating that as you walk, right? So now we get to not only practice using a different part of the body, practice using the glute. So when you use the glute, automatically, do you feel like you stand up a little bit taller? Does anybody feel that? Or straighter, I should say.
I do when I do the chin thing for sure.
Okay, good. Well, it's connected, right? So probably before you were using more of the front body, and so you were kind of leaning forward slightly, perhaps, right? So now with more of your weight back in your glutes, your chest is probably facing a little more forward. Your eyes, you're keeping your chin parallel with the earth, your eyes on the horizon. So now just start to notice, can you feel like your spine is a little bit straighter? Feel that a little bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. All right, we're gonna do a little abdominal exercise. So this is what I was wanting you to get before, Jared, but I didn't give any instruction on it at all. So I do this when I walk, by the way. So you're gonna lift your arms up, and you don't have to clasp your hands. I like to clasp my hands, but if it's uncomfortable, you don't need to. All I really want you to do is to get this lift up out of your hips. So imagine your feet are grounded down into the earth, right? You're pushing down into the earth, but when you lift your arms up, you're lifting your ribs out of your hips. So see if you can ground through your feet and imagine you're lifting up the entire torso out of your hips. Now, from here, some of us like to stick our ribs out. So all I'm going to ask you to do is squeeze your ribs in, and then let your ribs out, and squeeze your ribs in, and let your ribs out, and squeeze your ribs in, hold your ribs in. Now, keep your ribs engaged, and again, lengthen up. Imagine you're lengthening from the back of you. So the tailbone is drawing down, the back of the head is lifting up, and you're lifting up out of your hips. Now, can you squeeze your belly in, hold your torso tight, and let your arms come down, but keep your torso engaged, and tell me what you feel. Can you feel the difference of being collapsed into your hips and lifting up tall using your belly? This is the biggest part of everything that I've been asking you to do. The core, using the core, All right, so let's do another exercise. Maybe I think you'll get it a little bit better. So go ahead and just walk at a regular pace, walk around. And as you walk, I want you to notice that there's a little bit of a kind of, I don't know what to call it, a wave of the body where the ribs come out as you take a step and they come in, out and in. See if you can kind of mimic that. So the ribs out, ribs in, ribs out, ribs in, ribs out, ribs in. And it's almost like a walking crunch, if you can feel that. Can I get a yeah?
Yeah.
Or no? You got it? Okay. So now the next time you pull the ribs in, hold the ribs in, do not stick them out, and keep walking around. And tell me when you can feel your belly engaged.
Got it.
Got it. Okay, now keep walking, let your arms swing. So the opposite arm, opposite leg swing. You're still holding your core. So remember that move we did earlier, Frank, where you're lifting a leg and you're twisting? That was an exaggeration of this. When you walk, you want to feel that your entire core is holding you up and your arms are just free to do what they do. And as they swing, can you now see that when you walk, there's a gentle twist through your torso?
Mhm.
All that twisting we do in yoga, this is what we need to be doing during our day. Every time you walk is an opportunity to get your spine mobile, right? All right, questions? Let's talk about all that because that was a lot of information.
I definitely feel like the posture is taller with what you shared. And I didn't respond earlier when you said, how do you feel? Because I was trying to think of the word, but I think the core actually was unifying like everything we were talking about with the chin and then all the way down my feet. Like I almost felt like that was like the bridge to everything.
Amazing. Oh,
So
so
I'd
glad
say
you
the
caught
word
that.
unified. That's how I felt, unified.
Amazing, amazing. So you really felt that your torso, let's call the torso the core, was like fired up and your body was able to just move naturally. Yeah. Amazing. Yay. I'm so glad you got that. All right, Nastrin, you're quiet over there. How are you doing?
I'm good, and I'm thinking that I should involve my core more than this because usually my posture is just like that.
Yeah.
Even
totally.
when I take photo, I realize that I'm standing just like this, you know.
Yes.
And
well, okay, so I stay there. Don't go anywhere. Turn to the side again. Let's do that together because it's such a great exercise. That, by the way, is my same natural posture. Okay. So what I practice is allowing myself to do the thing, right, that I want to do. And then all we're doing, I think we did this last time, it's the bottom ribs to the top of the pelvis and it's a squeezing in. Now, I find it's easier to do this when I walk. So let's walk around and allow the ribs out, ribs in, ribs out, ribs in. Can you feel that, Nastrin? Can you feel?
Yeah.
Good. Now, the next time you pull the ribs in, hold them in and keep walking and allow your arms to swing. So allow the neck to be free, the arms to be free, and all of your strength and engagement in the core. How does that feel?
It feels unnatural.
Unnatural? Okay.
Yeah.
So things that we are not used to doing, of course, are going to feel unnatural. I feel like if you practice this, even just like for the next few days, it's going to start feeling strong for you and it's going to start feeling better than your natural, normal way. I think there's just like a little bit, from my experience, there's like a little bit of grace period, so to speak, where, we don't want to do the new thing because we're comfortable doing the old thing.
Yeah.
But what I've learned now is when I walk and stand the way that you were showing us, my body hurts me so badly. I have to do the other way. So now I just do it naturally because I know if I don't do it, I'm going to be really sore at the end of my walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should make it unconsciously, Yeah. Now I'm consciously aware. I'm consciously know that, but I should unconsciously realize it, develop doing that.
All you need to do, like I suggest, is a 20-minute walk once a day where you are focusing on your posture. That's it. Or split it up and do 2 10-minute walks a day. And that way it's not like, oh no, I need to remember to do this. No, just do it at specific times in your day. That's it. That way you have your practice down. And like Joe Dispenza says, the more you do something in the beginning, the faster you wire that connection, right?
Yeah. I read the Becoming Supernatural from Joe Dispenza.
Awesome. Yeah, he's so great.
He pedals under his
Yeah.
desk, doesn't he? That's what he, right?
Does he? I don't know. I wouldn't be
He
surprised.
was like a trader, and he'd ride his bicycle like a Peloton, pre-Peloton, and trade.
Yeah,
And
that's funny.
I'll say I agree with the unnatural. Like I almost felt like an English aristocrat, like just walking like so poised versus the New York fast walk I do, where I swing my arms and over exaggerate.
Right. Well, the natural thing that you do, you've done it so often, you don't have to think about it. But now I'm asking you to be present and aware. So you have to bring your mind to this moment. And when that happens, we often tend to engage everything instead of just engaging the new stuff. You're going to over engage it all. But what happens is, by using your glutes, over time, your quadriceps are going to be like, oh, we don't have to do as much work. We're just going to let go. And the more aware and present you can be with telling your body, okay, glutes, like you're the ones working right now, the more present and aware you can be with it, the faster you're going to make that shift.
Yeah, I like to slow it down too. Like that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, when I was in high school, I was like speed walker. I walked so fast that I had to like run to my classes because we had so many kids in the school. And I always thought like, oh, sense of urgency, like everywhere I go fast. But what I learned is that I have such bad habits when I go fast. And if you can't do something slow, my belief is that you really functionally don't know how to do the movement. Right? There's people in class, like yoga class, you'll see them and they're just like flowing and they're going so quick and everything's fast, but ask them to slow it down and they can't, because a lot of times they're using momentum. Yeah, there's no structure, there's no stability and function in the joints. It's just momentum that's propelling them forward, So yeah, the same thing in everywhere. Good. Did you have more, Frank?
That was it.
Perfect. Thank you. What about you, Jared?
So one thing I noticed is like when I was walking normally, my hips were kind of swaying. And when I like tried pulling my ribs in, I feel like they weren't really twisting as much anymore. It was like they were actually like square, like towards the direction I was walking in, which was kind of interesting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all I can say is you're probably just over engaging everything right now because your body is and your mind is trying to figure out like what the hell's going on. But I would say just like keep playing with it. And like I said, wherever you focus your energy. So this is another thing, I'm going to backtrack. When we're unaware, right, and we start to do something that we're not used to doing, our face might engage, our hands might clench, like things happen that we're not aware of happening, right? So like BKS Iyengar says that we need to, like, the intention is for us to infuse our entire body with intelligence. And when we do that, we can select, I'm going to use this muscle to do this movement. So in the beginning, it's almost like a child learning how to walk, they don't know what they're doing. Everything's kind of flailing around. And so when you start to get intentional with the way you move, you're going to feel like rigid and tight. And I promise you, the more you focus your intention and you start to notice. So let's do it again. And I'm going to walk you all through kind of relaxing the body a little bit. Is that cool? Okay. All right. So go ahead and start your walk again. Just start to walk around. And then you'll start to slow your walk down. And as you slow down, let's let you stand in that glute a little bit longer so you can feel your butt. And as you're feeling your glute now, bring this chin parallel with the earth so your gaze is straight ahead. And you can use your eyes to look down and around if you need to see the floor. Just kind of trusting your brain, trusting your vision. And now let's allow the ribs to come out and ribs to come in, ribs out, ribs in, ribs out, ribs in. And just do that enough times until you feel like Okay, I'm ready to pull the ribs in and keep them in. Now, relax your fingers, relax your hands. Let your arms start to swing a little bit. Keep pulling in your core, keep squeezing your glutes, but relax any muscles in the face. Like just feel, are you clenching your eyes? Are you clenching your mouth? Okay, so we're just pulling all the energy and all the awareness specifically to the glutes, to the core. So now, as you're doing this, can you lift your pubis bone? So lift your man and woman parts, squeeze them in and up, that place right above the pubis bone, in and up. And now as you're doing that, can you find a little more swagger, like a little more twist through the torso and a little more freedom somewhere else in your body? Maybe the neck. Good. So were you able to feel less tight when you did that, Jared?
Yes, especially I was clenching like my teeth, which is interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. So that's it. Like, honestly, this would be a really great meditation for you to do when you do your walking meditation, to become aware of where you're sending your energy in the body. And I bet these are things that you do when you're under stress that you're not aware of. So it can really help you to bring more awareness to that throughout your day too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, cool. I love it. I notice sometimes my hands will go like this and I'm like, what are you doing? I don't need my fingers to walk, you know? But I've done it in another place before. And you know what I mean? It's the body remembers and it does things when we've had a trauma or some stressful event, you know? However, if you just keep bringing your energy to where you want it and become aware of the ancillary muscles you're using, you'll start to be able to let them go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. So the points I wanted to make sure you got across, let's go over them. You tell me one point that you're going to remember when you walk.
I've got three. I got the
Tell
three.
me.
So
Tell
you
me.
you 2 weeks ago you said trust, because I talked about looking down. So you re-emphasize that today around like your brain knows the twigs there. Don't worry about it. Trust it. So trust the whole foot action, right? And then slow it down, because I'm a fast walker. So I have to slow it down. So if I slow it down, I'll have more trust, and then everything sort of fall into place.
I love it. Perfect. Thank you. What about you, Nastrin? What are the points that you picked up for today?
Involve my core when I'm walking and practice it more. You know?
Yeah.
And also swinging. Sometimes I just want, I think that maybe it's better just my hand just stay beside myself, but I think it's more natural.
Yeah, think about it. When you keep the arms by the side, I'll just interrupt for a moment. When you bring the arms by the side, let's all do that. Let's walk with the arms by the side and notice how that feels. Does that feel like flowing and open, or does that feel like stagnant and heavy?
Yeah, it's so heavy. I know.
It feels uncomfortable.
Like a waddle.
But models don't walk like that, right? Models walk really fluid and free.
Oh, I said waddle.
They have swagger.
Like a waddle.
I thought you said model.
Like a penguin. No, the models are like.
Yeah, they have swagger. Yeah. So good. Awesome. Yeah. And so I love the arm thing. I'm going to interrupt one more time. When we don't swing the arms, we don't get that natural twist through the torso. Okay. So we're now, I'm asking you to engage your core. And if you also don't swing your arms, you're creating rigidity in the body. It's too much. It's too much structure and not enough freedom. Remember that feminine along with the masculine. Yeah. Okay. Did you have another one? Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm good now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
Jared,
thank
what did
you.
you? Yeah. So I love this. I could do this all day, every day.
Great, thanks.
So the two main ones that like have been ringing around my mind were like trust your brain. Like you're like if you see something, you know it's there. And usually when I'm walking around, my eyes are like darting everywhere because of like so ADD, maybe, I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. That and keeping like the chin up because I mean like I said, I'm looking like everywhere at once or like trying to and noticing where like the energy's going in your body because like I was clenching like my jaw.
Yeah.
And I never really noticed that before. So like try to keep that in mind, relax it like while I'm walking. So
I love it.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yay. Amazing. I want to say with the trusting the brain, also be really mindful. I don't want you to trip and fall, right? I have definitely tripped over rocks hiking like all over. So, yeah, when you become unpresent for a moment, you're going to leave yourself open to tripping. So, you've got to be really aware if you're going to practice that. Okay. So, just make sure. So the 3 points that I really wanted you all to get today, number one is the chin parallel with the earth. That is so important. Just remember your heart follows your eyes always. So if your eyes are down, your heart is going this way, right? Yeah. So, and that forward head posture and that rounded forward posture is kind of mimicking dementia patients. And the brain affects the body just like the body affects the brain. You know, they're finding now that kids with forward head posture, they're having the same cognitive kind of pictures of the brain that dementia patients have. So we really want to keep our heart up and our eyes forward as much as we can. Okay, so chin parallel with the earth. The second one was using the glutes. I really want you to be able to feel your glutes. Now, if you're having trouble feeling your glutes, I'll have one more. This is a bonus that I'll give you. Walking, just go ahead and walk backwards a few times and do it slowly so you can feel your foot touch the earth or the floor, and just notice, can you feel your butt engaged when you walk backwards? Yeah. Good. So that's an easy way to turn it on. So when I go to the beach, I walk backwards, and if you want brownie points, do it with your eyes closed. It's really cool. Not in your house though, be careful. You want to do it where there's like open space.
I got plenty of space.
Elizabeth, you got to start a class on the beach.
I want
That'd be fun.
to. I've been dying to. I've
I'll
been
be
wanting like a hotel to host me, but yeah, I mean, I would love to do one on Saturday morning after my class at Slash. I figured
Yeah.
that would be an amazing time. But yeah, I would love to do that. And yes, it's in the works for
It's
sure.
a great
Thank
idea.
you.
I mean, it's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I'll be there.
Yeah,
I can
for sure.
support
Thank
that.
you.
Beach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Good. All right,
What's
so you got
the book you've been holding?
Oh, this is my notebook. I'm
Nice.
obsessed with
Genius at Work.
Einstein. Yeah. It's Albert Einstein. It's just my genius thoughts. And he has a quote on every page, which is fun. Yeah, I'm obsessed with him. So okay, glutes, parallel, and core. Okay, so keeping those ribs in, allowing there to be a twist through your torso, giving your arms some freedom, and really just like allowing yourself to enjoy walking, allowing yourself time to be present with yourself. And really, honestly, I believe this is the best way to change your posture walking. So I know I gave you a lot of information, but I hope you all, I can't help it. So I hope this was really helpful. And you can watch the replay too if you want to see if there's any gems that you missed. But I challenge you, your homework, to practice for 20 minutes a day, whether it's like a 10-minute walk in the morning, a 10-minute walk in the evening, or one time 20 minutes, where your intention is to focus on your posture. So you're just like meditating, your brain is going to be like squirrel, butterfly, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be all over the place. So, but it's not that doesn't matter, because that's what we do. That's what our brains do. The point of meditation is to come back from that place over and over again, right? The more you can do that throughout the day, that's way better in my mind than sitting for an hour one time and then going out into chaos. You want to find that presence in your chaos. So you go for your walk, you meet a neighbor, you say hi, you forget your posture, and then you remember and you come back into it. And how many times can you do that over and over? So yeah, I challenge you 20 minutes a day. I promise it'll change your body. It's changed mine. And yeah, and I also challenge you to not bring your phone, not listen to music, and let it be like a true meditation. Yeah, no talking on the phone. Gold star. All right, y'all. This has been so amazing. Thank you for being here with me. And yeah, I have your emails, but anybody that's listening to the replay, if you want to get on my email list, please send it to me. I am Passion for Posture on Instagram. Send me notes there, and I will have some virtual classes coming up. I also have some local mobility labs coming up, and I'm looking to do a 6-week pelvic floor and core for women right now. So if you're interested in that, send me a message. And yeah, I'm here to serve. So let me know how I can serve you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for this
You're so welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Sure.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.